everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Christine Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course, we give you insight into what it all means. Joining us, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet, coming to you live from the Stream.tv studios here in Hollywood, California. We are so glad you decided to make us part of your day.
And we also have joining us at the table the director of the upcoming film The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? Mr. John Schnepp.
Hey, what's going on? I don't know if you guys noticed, we're all wearing these pins.
Oh, I forgot to put mine on, damn it.
Oh.
What am I doing? Chris Lee's got hers on.
Yeah.
Schnepp has his
Little
on.
cappy shield going on right here.
Oh, yeah, I want to let you guys know about this. We got these Captain America pins here. These are just really cool, and they're solid, and I like them a lot. So here's the deal. You can find this on amctheaters.com, and you'll find the special deal for this, or look on our AMC Theaters YouTube. Look at it right there. Nice camera shot, guys. What is basically happening is that starting on April 11th, if you go to an AMC theater and see Captain America in IMAX 3D, while supplies last, you will get one of these Captain America pins, and these are very, very cool. And you know, I've got loads of them. It's raining Captain America pins right now. So I've got some I want to give away to some people. So here's what we're going to do. I got a bunch of them here. So do me a favor and email us at amcmovietalk@gmail.com and put Captain America pin in the subject line, and then in your email, give us your best movie title with Schnepp's name in it. So don't put it in the chat board. Don't put it. Just email to us at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Put Captain America pin in the subject line and give us your best title. And then we're going to pick, we're going to pick 4 people at random. We're going to pick 4 people at random that send that in, and we're going to send you a Captain America pin. And if you're not one of the 4, once again, starting April 11th, AMC Theaters, IMAX 3D of Captain America, while supplies last, you can get your pin there too. So thanks, Troy. So let's get rolling.
There is perhaps no actor that fans have been asking for to appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe more than Firefly and Castle star Nathan Fillion. At the recent St. Louis Comic-Con panel, a fan asked if considering Fillion's connection with Joss Whedon and Guardians director James Gunn, if he'd wanted a role in Guardians of the Galaxy, to which Fillion replied with the following: wanting to get a part, or maybe did. I'm just saying maybe. Maybe it'll be a surprise. Maybe check the credits of the movie when you watch it. John, how do you interpret Fillion's statement?
Every day, Nathan Fillion gives me a new reason to love him just a little bit more. Good Canadian kid, that Nathan Fillion. You know, it's funny because I actually watched the footage of him at the St. Louis Comic-Con when somebody asked that, and he said, wanting to be in Guardians? And everybody's like, oh, maybe did, and everybody's freaking out. I mean, okay, look, I think it's clear he's going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's clear it's going to be a post-credit scene. Now, what is not clear is it going to be a traditional Marvel post-credit scene that is leading into something that's coming later? A lot of people speculating now, is he Doctor Strange? Which is always a possibility. I also think it's a very strong possibility that he's just, you know, a guy at the 7-Eleven selling Star-Lord, you know, a package of cigarettes or something. Right. And then it's just a quick little fun cameo. Now, is it fun to speculate that it's actually something major and big? Look, we have all been wanting to see Nathan Fillion in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or in DC Cinematic Universe. A lot of people wanted him as Green Lantern for a very, very long time. So it's fun to speculate about that, and it's certainly possible. I have a feeling, though, it's probably just a small throwaway thing. Now, some people say it can't be anything major because he's still committed to Castle. Lots of people who are working on TV shows continue to work on their TV shows while they're shooting movies. Right. So that's not a big deal. But I do have a feeling it's probably just some small throwaway cameo, but wouldn't it be cool if it was something more? Anyway, how did you interpret it?
I interpreted it sort of like this is I'm not going to say the spoiler, but in Captain America 2, there is someone from Community in Captain America 2. Like, it's a little role, and it's a fun role. But maybe that's how this is. Like, how I interpret it is he's not saying the post-credit sequence. He's saying check the credits. Like, maybe he's in a scene or something.
Right.
If he was in the post-credits and he was going to be a character, I'd say make him Nova.
Right.
That would be kind of a really cool, like to see him putting on that helmet. I'll take care of it and fly away or something, you know. But I highly doubt that. But you know, I think you're probably more right about him playing a checkout clerk or something.
Yes.
Like that'll be $6.99. What's the holdup or something, you know?
Or there's some, you know, some kind of little thing where people are sitting around a table and all of a sudden he just leans into camera in a Doctor Strange outfit and say, "Did somebody say abracadabra?" or something really stupid. Something James Gunn and Nathan Fillion would do.
Right.
And you know, for those of you who don't know, I always talk about whenever James Gunn comes up, I always mention, dear heavens, people, if you haven't seen Slither, my all-time, above Shaun of the Dead, and everybody knows how much I love Shaun of the Dead, but above Shaun of the Dead, Slither, my all-time favorite horror comedy. And of course, Nathan Fillion starred in that film for James Gunn. And of course, he's in all the Joss Whedon stuff as well. So he's connected to everything in Marvel. Let's see him in there, even if it's just a small fun thing.
It sounds like he is in there. Now we have to speculate, what is he?
What is it going to be? All right, what's next?
He's monster number 259.
Yes.
Just so you know. All right, the first truly official casting for the upcoming Star Wars Episode 7 has come out. Peter Mahew, the 69-year-old actor who was the man inside the Chewbacca suit for the original Star Wars trilogy, will indeed return to play the famous Wookiee when the film hits AMC theaters everywhere on December 18th, 2015. Schnepp, is Mahew returning a big deal for Star Wars Episode 7?
Most definitely. Is it a big deal? He's the original Chewbacca. Like, we've already known that C-3PO and R2-D2 are going to be in all 9.
Yeah.
Back in the early 80s when Lucas was
but we know that none of that means anything, though, because those aren't the storylines they're following now.
But yeah, Chewbacca.
But we do know they're back.
Yeah, Chewbacca being, and having Peter Mahew play Chewbacca is really great, because it's like, I know he's been going through, he just had knee surgery so that he could walk again. He's gone through a lot of trials and tribulations over the last few years, so it's really a great thing to hear that Chewbacca, starring the original Chewbacca, you know, the man behind the mask, Peter Mahew, is going to be playing Chewbacca. That's great news. That's big news.
See, everybody knows I live, breathe, eat, crap Star Wars. Star Wars is my life. So when I heard that Peter Mahew, the original Chewbacca, was coming back, I couldn't care less. I honestly, I couldn't care less. And everybody's going to be like, what? But it's the original Chewbacca, John. How can you possibly say that? Here's the thing about Peter Mahew. And all due respect to Peter Mahew, and Peter Mahew is very special. If I'm walking at a Comic-Con somewhere and Peter Mayhew's at a table, I'm getting in that line to get his autograph, absolutely. But here's the thing. Chewbacca made Peter Mahew special. Peter Mahew didn't make Chewbacca special. Peter Mahew is a tall dude who went... That's all he did. There is nothing about the performance of Chewbacca that Peter Mahew can uniquely bring.
I will argue that point.
Oh, really? I'd love to hear it. Change my mind, damn it.
When they were playing chess on the Millennium Falcon, a lot of that stuff he did. He's the one who added that. He's the one who added all those movements.
That's fine. You tell somebody else couldn't do this.
That's called acting, yo. Sorry.
Okay.
Like, he is Chewbacca. If they got someone else to play Chewbacca, he wouldn't have those same movements. He wouldn't be Chewbacca. That's my argument.
I want to see things your way. Believe me, I want to see things your way. But honestly, I'm at a point, and I know a lot of people are happy. And hey, if it's making Star Wars fans happy, then that makes me happy.
And the man deserves a paycheck. How about that?
And he does. He's Peter Mahew. But once again, like, to me, Peter Mahew didn't make Chewbacca special. Chewbacca made him special. And I think you could put anybody of that height in the costume, it would be the same thing. But you've got but you got a year to change my mind.
Right.
I want you to change my mind.
You know, like, there's a lot of other people who like, hey, Stormtrooper X or Stormtrooper number 133. I would agree with you. You can put a guy in a Stormtrooper outfit. You have the 501st. None of those guys are going to be like, you don't recognize me as the ultimate Stormtrooper? Chewbacca's different. Like, watch the Star Wars Holiday Special. All those other Wookiees can get out of here. Chewbacca's the only one.
I can't believe you brought up the Star Wars Holiday Special in any kind of positive context. That's right. That's a first I've ever seen.
Defending Chewbacca.
Some people are saying in the chat board right now that we should do the next AMC Versus. Peter Mahew as Chewbacca or not as Chewbacca? All right, listen, folks, we come to that part of the show called Buy or Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Crystal Lee's got a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Crystal Lee, what do we got?
A new trailer for the upcoming Jon Favreau film Chef has hit the web. Chef Carl Casper, played by Jon Favreau, suddenly quits his job at a prominent Los Angeles restaurant after refusing to compromise his creative integrity for its controlling owner, played by Dustin Hoffman. He is left to figure out what's next. Finding himself in Miami, he teams up with his ex-wife, Sofia Vergara, his friend, John Leguizamo, and his son to launch a food truck. Taking to the road, Chef Carl goes back to his roots to reignite his passion for the kitchen and zest for life and love. John, buy or sell the trailer for Chef?
I am thrilled with this trailer. For me, it's a big buy. I've been looking forward to this movie ever since they first announced it. I have become a bit of a foodie. I must admit, late at night, 11:30, getting ready to go to bed, I'll pop on the Food Network, watch some of them cooking competition stuff. And my wife is a big foodie as well. I love Jon Favreau's films. I really like what he brings to his films. This sounded like a really cool idea. Ann and I, we're actually friends with the dude who won like the great food truck race on the Food Network, so we're really into food trucks at the same time. So this movie's kind of tailored to make me like it. And what we didn't mention, what isn't mentioned in the synopsis here, is that Jon Favreau's love interest in the film, I believe, is Scarlett Johansson. So you got Robert Downey Jr., you got Jon Favreau calling in some favors for his little indie film, bringing in Scarlett Johansson and Robert Downey Jr. I loved the trailer. For me, it's a buy.
Yeah, I think he was like, hey, if Gordon Levitt can get ScarJo as a girlfriend, I'm calling that favor in too. You can be my girlfriend in the movie. So
yeah, I'm going to be a guy whose my ex is Sofia Vergara and my current is Scarlett Johansson.
And I obviously eat a lot of my own food in this movie because I pounded out a little bit. So, you know what? The trailer looked fun. I can't say I'll hesitantly buy it. You know, I mean, for me, it felt a little forced. That's all. I liked all the prep. I like the food truck action. I like the storyline. I'm gonna have to see it.
I love that Twitter gag though that they did.
That
Twitter gag I thought was really funny.
It's done. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I like Favreau's movies too, all the way from Swingers. So, you know, I'm ready to check it out. I just like it felt a little like the comedy elements of it felt a little ham-fisted. So I'm hesitantly buying.
Be interesting to see them in context.
Yeah.
All right. What's next?
It is being reported that Universal Studios is moving ahead with a big screen version of Battlestar Galactica. The studio has hired transcendent scribe Jack Paglin to pen the script. Universal will be rebooting the franchise from scratch, and the film will not take place within the continuity of either the original series or the more recent reboot. Jeanette, buy or sell the idea of a Battlestar Galactica movie?
I'm going to sell it. I really love the Sci-Fi Channel Battlestar Galactica series, and you know, the '80s one, or the early '80s one was kind of a fun thing when I was a little kid. It was like fun, Cylons, silver Cylons. They were like, oh, they're silver stormtroopers. You know, it was obviously a big kind of like roll off of Star Wars. That's why it was created. The Sci-Fi Channel version was a totally different interpretation. It went a lot of places. It was a thinking man science fiction series filled with action. Who wouldn't love Adama? All those characters in it were great. So for me, like right now, to hear about a brand new reboot as a movie, zero interest. I mean, hey, make a remake. I'm selling it.
I'm going to buy this hard. I think the mythology and the basic, because really it's funny because the early '80s incarnation of Battlestar Galactica and the sci-fi one are two such totally different shows. But when you go back and watch the original again, you realize the storylines are very, very similar, and they follow kind of the same mythology as well. Aside from the Cylons, you know, wanting to worship some new god that they created.
Right.
But I'm going to say this: the sci-fi Battlestar Galactica, to me, is the greatest television series of all time. It is my absolute. I think season 1 of Heroes is my favorite single season of television, but overall, I thought Battlestar Galactica is my all-time favorite TV show. And I always loved one of my favorite shows growing up was the A-Team. And I always loved how Dirk Benedict, in the opening credits of A-Team, a Cylon walks by him and he goes, I always thought that was really cute.
Right.
But the big question would be for me is, one of the reasons the sci-fi show works so well is who they got to play Adama, Edward
James Olmos.
Edward James Olmos.
So say we all.
Yeah, so say we all. Like he had brought so much power to it. Like it felt like and the show's excellent on its own too, but it feel like he steps in whenever he's on screen, he puts the show on his shoulders and he carries it. The key thing for me in doing a Battlestar Galactica movie is who do you cast as Adama, and can they bring that same kind of power
Yeah.
that Edward did?
Well, I would also bring out the other cast. Everyone in Battlestar Galactica was really strongly cast.
Katie
all the
Stackhoff
actors,
was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they were all
Gaius,
so good.
Gaius, the guy who played
Yeah,
Gaius.
Baltar, yeah.
Baltar, sorry. Yeah, all the characters were great. And yeah, I mean, I hesitantly sell it is what I would do, because it's like, I'm going to change it a little bit, because then I thought about it. I haven't seen Transcendence yet, but that they got the guy who wrote Transcendence. I'm very interested in seeing Transcendence, so I started thinking about it. I was like, you know, maybe they're going to go with a totally different flip, but they're going to keep the same premise, just like both the original series and the Redux, you know, the Redo series. So, you know, but I'm still going to sell it because I love the Battlestar Galactica series.
All right, what's new next?
According to Deadline Hollywood, the upcoming film Assassin's Creed has just brought on 2 new writers to rework the script. Bill Collage and Adam Cooper, best known for their work on Ridley Scott's upcoming biblical epic, Exodus, Gods and Kings, will rewrite Michael Leslie's adapted screenplay. John, buy or sell Assassin's Creed landing 2 new writers?
I'm going to sell it, and obviously I haven't seen Exodus, Gods and Kings yet, so it's not based, I'm not selling this because of who they've got on writing, and I'm sure they're very gifted writers. But I'm going to sell for this. I would get in arguments with people like a number of months ago that's saying, oh my gosh, remember when that story came out that J.J. Abrams kind of requested if they could push back the start date or the release date of Star Wars? And Alan Horn said, no, 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 like this is the date. And some people are saying, well, now they're rushing it. And I would say at the time, dude, it's December of 2015, and they've already started pre-production work. They're well on their way. It's plenty of time. This movie comes out 4 or 5 months before Star Wars. They're just changing writers now, and they don't even have a director on board. I've been very excited about this Assassin's Creed project ever since it was announced. Like, it's got to be getting close to a year ago now, isn't it? Or getting close. When Michael Fassbender, they announced, was coming on as a producer and a star in the film. I've been very excited about this project. We're getting close to August 2015. You still don't have a director. You're changing writers now? I am starting to really get worried about this film, that it's actually going to be a 2015 release date. I'm actually really starting to doubt we're going to see it in 2015, which is disappointing to me because it's so rare that I get excited about a video game adaptation.
Right.
We got Warcraft and we've had Assassin's Creed, and now it looks like Assassin's Creed is kind of tripping over itself. But anyway, for me, it's a sell. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to sell it too. It's like, usually that's a bad sign when you see like 4 or 5 people's name on the screenplay. You know, it just means that there were so many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It could be good, it could be bad. It's hard to tell. But I mean, Michael Fassbender signing on as a producer, sometimes that has 0 credence when it's an actor.
Yes.
It's like, look, how much producing are they really doing? They're off like they're acting in a bunch of movies. How are they hands-on with this? Aside from reading the script, maybe Fassbender read the script and was like, I'm not doing this movie. Get a brand new set of writers. Really could be. Also, we don't know, like, are they rewriting the entire thing from a page 1 rewrite, or is it just like, hey, we've already got all these costumes, we've got the setting, we've got people working on everything, we're just rewriting the dialogue.
And still no director.
Yeah.
And still no director to guide it, you know?
Yeah, it's a little bit frightening, so I'm selling it too. So.
All right, folks, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. Listen, if you've got a topic or a question you'd like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, before we get to the mailbag questions today, I'm going to let you know that if you're watching us live, you can tweet in some questions. We're going to save a few minutes at the end of the show to take some of your questions live on Twitter. Where can you tweet us? You can tweet us at AMC Movie News. And Chris Lee will be going through the tweets and picking a couple questions out at that time. But for now, it's time for mailbag questions. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
I love when you pick the big wordy ones that make me jumble. Joseph Antoine writes, why does it seem that animated movies for properties with a history that are established and have a built-in fan base either produce subpar numbers at the box office, examples, Clone Wars movie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or completely fail at the box office, like Transformers, the animated movie, Batman, Mask of Phantasm, etc., whereas animated movies with no history to them explode at the box office and have kids flocking to them, like Frozen, Pixar movies, original Shrek, etc. It seems like the complete opposite of how live action movies work, where you want the built-in audience. Thanks again, and never stop bringing the filthy.
Well, I mean, let's say this first. Not all original animated films are big blockbuster hits. I mean, that's just not the case. I think there are a couple of reasons why we've seen historically, and let's be fair too, it's not like there have been 5 dozen animated films based on television animated properties, right? So it's not like that's the case. There are a few examples. I don't think enough to justifiably say we have a definitive sample size, but fine, let's just go with what we've got from now. This kind of goes into something that I've always talked about, which is, a lot of people say to me, John, if you make a Batman Beyond movie, people will flock to it and love it. And I keep trying to tell people, no, they won't. No, they won't. Because first of all, nobody wants a non-Bruce Wayne Batman. Nobody, you talk to the average person in the streets, they're excited about Batman because they understand, they know Batman. They know Superman. Now, they didn't know Iron Man, but the marketing was fantastic. But everybody still has some association and knowledge of Iron Man to some degree. And I think coming up with a brand new property has an advantage sometimes. Because let's talk about Batman Mask of the Phantasm, right? A really good animated film, by the way.
Great.
I really like Mask of the Phantasm, but it didn't, as much as everybody likes to say, everybody watched that animated Batman. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. A very small percentage of people actually watch that. When you have the movie come out, not only do you have now, it's completely alienated a lot of people because they already know it as that TV show. I don't watch that TV show, so when I go see the movie, and then you got the other group of people, a lot of people are thinking like, well, I can just watch the show. Why would I pay to watch a movie version when I can watch the show for free every Saturday morning or every Friday afternoon or whatever? So I think there's a bunch of different elements that go into it. But like I said, I also don't think there's a big enough sample size for us to definitively say, animated movies based on pre-existing animated properties can't work. I don't think we've seen enough to say that definitively. I think they can. We just haven't seen it happen yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I could use the Smurfs or Alvin and the Chipmunks. These are,
there you go,
characters that have been around for a long time.
Yep.
Did I see the Smurfs? It's not for me. I didn't see the Smurfs.
I like the first Smurfs movie.
It made a lot of movie. I mean, it made a lot of money. It made so much money.
They made
another movie.
They made a long movie that they had an extra movie to birth Smurfs 2, is what I was trying to say. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's correct. I would use the Batman Mask of the Phantasm as well as people saying, I'll just wait for video, because it's not enough. It's not something enough that's special to make me go to the theater because it's available on television. So it didn't do enough of a spin to make it different. Smurfs, it wasn't a 2D animated, it was a live action Smurfs with 3D.
And the classic Smurfs cartoon show had been off air for how many? Like a decade,
So it was
two
a
decades?
full reboot, pretty much. So, yeah, I don't think that's a necessarily truism, what that statement is for the question. So,
all right, what's next?
Josh Mickle writes, hey AMC, keep up the great work. Just a curious question that popped in my mind. Frozen was one of the best animated movies, maybe of all time, and recently Captain America the Winter Soldier, to which I say just surpassed the Avengers and can't wait for Spidey 2. The commonality of Frozen and Captain 2 is that they each have two directors for those films. Do you think it's better to have two directors for movies, or are Frozen and Cap 2 rare movies that do well with two directors?
Well, I really liked Frozen, but I'm not willing to call it one of the top 10 greatest animated films of all time.
Blasphemy.
It's really good, though. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it's a very, very good movie. But two directors on a film is not as rare as you might think. I mean, yeah, we got the Russo brothers going now, but don't forget about the Coen brothers, right? We're talking about things like Big Lebowski, No Country for Old Men, Raising Arizona. A couple friends of mine, Neville Dean and Taylor, who did the Crank movies. You're talking about the Wachowski siblings, right? The Matrix films, wrote V for Vendetta, directed the one with Tom Hanks that was just out right now, and I can't remember the name of it. You have Peter and Bobby Farrelly brothers. Something About Mary, Dumb and Dumber. You have the two guys. I keep forgetting the two guys who did I Love You, Philip Morris, and Crazy Stupid Love. I keep forgetting their names. But anyway, the point is, there is quite a good list of films and good films that are directed by two directors. Here's what I think the key is, though. I think if you're going to have two directors, they have to speak with one voice, and they have to be so in tune with each other that it's just, they completely can function as one. And I don't think it's a coincidence. That's why a lot of these directing duos are brothers. A lot of the ones I just mentioned are brother director duos. You've got to be able to speak with one cohesive voice. So is it better to have two directors? No, I don't think it's better, but if they can speak with one cohesive voice, then I don't think it's any worse than having one director either. And like I said, that's why I think you see a lot of these guys who are brothers doing it. But anyway, Schnepp, as a director, how do you see this?
Yeah, I think you covered everything pretty much, as far as like it works when it's all in the family, like especially the Coen brothers. It's like they can like, here, you deal with the actors, I'll deal with the cameraman. They usually divvy it up that way. They're really cool about like, hey, you take this part of the task, I'll take that part of the task. And that's why it's so efficient in directing when you have two people who are like really can work together, and that's why siblings, it really works out really well, because they're unified, bonded by blood, and they've, you know, dealt with all the sibling issues, you know, back when they were kids, so that it's a lot easier for them to get over any kind of ego issues. I'm sure it's more like, you talk to the actor, I'll deal with the camera setup. You know, I've always heard that that's how any of these siblings work, pretty much. One person is kind of in charge of this part. They really divvy it up that way. You know?
Lord and Miller, I came for Lord and Miller, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, Caught with the Chance of Meatballs, Lego Movie. That's another one I just forgot about.
Right.
So yeah,
but those guys aren't brothers.
No, they're not brothers.
It
but
really helps though if somebody's worked together and they're like, hey, we have
and you
a
notice
good
when they
working
work together, they continue to work together.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, today Martin Scorsese is going to direct something with Christopher Nolan. Then his next film, Martin Scorsese is going to work with Jason Reitman. And then no, it's a team of guys, always together, speaking with one voice, understand their process together, like you're saying, and then it can really work.
And they'll take breaks, like Neville, Dean, and Taylor. They're going to take a break, do their own individual movies, and I'm sure they'll regroup and do Crank 3, hopefully.
Yeah.
I do have to take issue. Frozen is not the best animated film of all time, ever. Sorry. That's a statement. You should say, in my opinion, it could be one of the best animated films.
He did say maybe. He said maybe.
But he said it's the best, one of the best animated films. I don't even think it's one of the best animated films. I mean, I thought it was okay. I just like,
I thought it was really good.
I loved
but I wouldn't
it.
put it in the top 10.
Toy Story, Sleeping Beauty. Sorry, I got 100 other movies that trample Frozen.
All right.
Sorry.
Okay, folks, we said we were going to leave a few minutes for your live questions on Twitter, and it's time to do that. So Chris Lee is our gatekeeper. Chris Lee, what are people asking on the Twitter stream?
We have a lot of questions coming in today. The first one is from Darkhan, who says, last year it was rumored Peter Berg would remake Dune. Has there been any news since, or should Dune even be remade? Thanks.
No, that rumor was like 3 years ago that he was going to do it. And I was excited about it at the time until I saw Battleship. Then my excitement level for a Peter Berg Dune thing went down. Don't get me wrong. One horrible movie does not ruin a great director, and Peter Berg is a very talented director. But I think that whole Dune thing is dead in the water. I think it will happen eventually.
Yeah.
It's too good of a story not to retell. I actually really like the sci-fi miniseries of the one with John Hurt.
Yeah.
I thought that one was really, really cool.
Especially like the second one, not even the
William
first
Hurt,
one.
sorry, not John Hurt. Two very different guys.
The second Sci-Fi Channel
Right,
series
I know what
was
you're
better,
talking
I
about,
thought.
yeah.
So, yeah, is he going to make Dune? Probably not. I think it's like,
but somebody will.
yeah, he's moved on. Someone else will make it.
All right, what's next?
Kyle Marquis wants to know, I know it looks great, but do you think the aggressive marketing for The Amazing Spider-Man 2 could be a sign for the film's bad quality?
Nope. No, I can always have to balance what you can say and what you can't say. I can tell you right now, this movie's awesome. That's all I'm going to say. This movie's awesome. Schnepp?
Yeah, I think the overabundance of them. I think they're Sony's really kind of like, look at me. They're wanting to share what an amazing film they have to get people in the seats. I just saw another trailer. I think it's the 14th trailer of Spider-Man with new footage in front of the Captain America. 14th this week. And I was still blown away. I was still completely excited. Like, I can't believe how great this looks. And in 3D, it looks fantastic. I'm not tired of watching it. So honestly, it's one of my most. I'm can't wait to see it. And it's only
I'll
like
tell
a
you
month
this.
from now.
I can't tell you this. So the people at Sony are giddy about how good this movie is. They believe in this movie a lot. So yeah, hang on. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this is going to be the greatest comic book movie of the year. I'm not saying it's going to be better than Captain America 2. I'm just going to tell you, Sony is beside themselves happy with how this movie has turned out. All right, what's next?
And I get to go to New York and cover it in 2 weeks.
Yes, you do.
So excited. All right, Caleb Spacht wants to know, do you think that young Professor X could die in Days of Future Past, setting up young Magneto as the new leader of the X-Men in sequels?
If you know anything about the actual Age of Apocalypse storyline, that fits. Now, just because they're calling the next one Apocalypse doesn't mean it's going to be the Age of Apocalypse. I've been waiting. I would give my left nut to see an Age of Apocalypse movie. I don't know that we're getting it. But for those of you who don't know, let me give you just a very brief synopsis, okay? Charles Xavier's son, also known as Legion, borderline bad guy. He's a little bit crazy, decides to go back in time to make his dad's life a lot easier by killing off his lifelong enemy, Magneto. So he goes back in time far enough, though, where Charles Xavier and Magneto are still buddy-buddy and friends. So Legion shows up, he's about to kill Magneto. Charles Xavier goes, no, that ain't gonna happen, and he sacrifices himself to save Magneto. Now Legion's killed his own father, and now history doesn't have Charles Xavier. So now we come back to present day in a world that is imagined as if Charles Xavier never put the X-Men together, and it's a world now ruled by Apocalypse, only being resisted by the X-Men led by Magneto, who named this group of mutants after his fallen friend who saved his life. So there, I put in a really neat little package for you there. I love that idea, but I do not think they're going to kill young Charles Xavier in this movie. I think they're going to use James for a long run. I think that he's going to become the new Charles Xavier modern day. I've said this before, just my theory. I have nothing to back this up with. I think X-Men is going to move forward with the younger cast in modern day. They're going to figure out a way to bring them into modern context, and they'll retire out Patrick Stewart, they'll retire Sir Ian McKellen. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the decade-long entertainment you've given us in this franchise. That's what I think they're going to do, but you, sir, are clearly somebody who have read Age of Apocalypse to know that question. Anyway.
Yeah, good summation, by the way.
Thank you.
Very crisp and clear. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think there's it's a fusion of that. I'm guessing that they're going to, a bunch of things are going to happen. They go back into the past, change a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to come back into a melded version of the future with some characters from the old, some characters from the new, and probably some kind of apocalyptic scenario, henceforth Apocalypse. I don't think they're going to even use Apocalypse the way we're used to thinking about Apocalypse. So
yeah,
you know.
Excited to see what they got in store.
Yeah.
All right, let's take two more.
Alex Weaver wants to know, do you think we could ever see a Static Shock movie? I think it's an awesome story, but could it work?
Nope. John?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay, what's next?
You didn't give me enough time to find a new one, guys. You got to talk more than that on these
Static
questions.
Shock. Yes, I think you're more likely to see a comedy called Static Shock than it's just not
All right,
happen.
Andrew Nasser wants to know, do you think that the Hulk will have the ability to speak in the new Avengers movie?
Well, I mean, he did in the last one, right?
Yeah.
Like when he's beating the crap out of Loki, one of the great scenes.
Spoilers! If you haven't seen Avengers, spoilers!
One of the great individual scenes of any movie of the past couple of years, when the Hulk goes in and beats the crap out of Loki. As he's walking away, he looks back because Loki says, "I am a god, you whatever you are, and you mindless beast." And then so Hulk smashes the crap out of him and is walking away, looks over his shoulder and says, he says, puny a lot, but he says puny god.
Yeah,
he calls him a puny
god.
So I believe we can see him talking there. We're probably not sitting down and having in-depth intellectual conversations with Tony Stark.
Yeah,
but
he's not going to be Mr. Fix-It Hulk or any I'm
yeah.
the incredibly intelligent
in his
Hulk.
in his pinstripe suit,
yeah,
and his
that's not
fedora.
going to happen. Yeah, he's going to have some words to say.
All right. Well, folks, that's done it for us. We're out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you'd like one of these snazzy Captain America pins, just starting April 11th, go to AMC Theaters for an IMAX 3D screening of the movie. And while supplies last, you can pick one up there. Or email us at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Put Captain America pin in the subject line and name a movie title with Schnepp's name in it. We'll pick a couple at random and send some of these out. Don't forget, lots of great movies playing at AMC Theaters right now. Head on over to www.amctheaters.com for all your theater, showtime, and movie ticket information. If you want an audio-only version of this episode, you can get the podcast. Just look in the description of this video for our links to Stitcher and iTunes. I want to thank, first of all, the guy sitting at the table with me, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me at Twitter and Instagram, just at John Schnepp. And please come to Meltdown Comics in Hollywood this Saturday. I'm doing it again. I'm selling my comic collection. I'm bringing 10 long boxes. Come and pick some up for $1 a piece. There's a whole bunch of gems in there. So a bunch of people got the original Winter Soldier run. I don't even know how much those are worth now. I sold them all for $1. What's up? So come on down.
And, of course, our lovely host today, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chrisley. And yes, that is me in the chat board. So be nice.
And you can find me on the various social media networks just at John Campia. Thanks a lot for joining us, guys. So until next time, my name's John Campia for AMC Movie News. And until then, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.